I was very good at math. That's a big Asian stereotype. I think there's some truth to that, not because of some weird genetic thing, just because our parents care so much more about mathematics and academics, right? You guys seen it? You guys seen those like Kumon learning centers in those strip malls, right? Right? Kumon learning centers, for you guys that don't know, are basically detention camps for young Asian children. You can tell that place is kind of f***ed up by the look of its logo. Because it's supposed to be a smiley face, but it's not really smiling. It's just like, man.
If you did Kumon, I know you can feel my pain. There needs to be some sort of class action lawsuit because of how traumatic doing speed math every day was. But one thing I took away from Kumon was the ability to do mental math at lightning speed, which is now just a cool party trick at best. The problem, though, is that I took that same speed is everything mentality into every single project that I worked on. So for years, when it came to research or writing papers, I'd dive in head first without a plan, thinking that I'd be saving time by just starting right away. And every single time I'd end up hitting roadblocks, backtracking, or just missing key steps. What should have been a quick project would often turn into a frustrating mess. The moral of the story is, don't start without a plan. A well thought out plan isn't just a roadmap, it's gonna be your compass. It keeps you efficient, focused, and on track. So today, I wanna show you how you can create and execute a research plan that will save you time, elevate your work, and most importantly, keep you sane. First things first, you need to define your goals. What's the problem or question that you're trying to address? Your research isn't just about finding random facts, it's about solving a specific issue or making a compelling argument. Start with an issue statement. Instead of saying, I want to research privacy law, narrow it down to something like, how does the Fourth Amendment apply to warrantless searches of cell phones? Think of your issue statement as the North Star of your research. Everything you do, every source you pull, every note you take should align with this goal. One of the most common mistakes I've seen is students think that all sources are weighted evenly. Now, try to think about it like this. If you're presenting your paper in front of a Supreme Court judge, you need to have the most rock-solid resources to create the strongest argument. That's why prioritizing primary sources like case law, statutes, and regulations should be your priority. These are going to be your strongest pieces of evidence. The best way to use secondary sources is to fill in all the tiny little gaps in your primary resources and provide more analysis. So think of the law review articles, the treaties, the encyclopedias. Remember to focus on credible sources. Anything that's peer-reviewed, published by a reputable organization, or highly cited or directly from legal databases like Nexus Uni or JSTOR, whatever it is that you use. That will be your golden ticket. Another thing that I can't stress enough is note-taking. It's great that you can read hundreds of articles in an hour, but what's the use if you can't even remember what any of them say? Good note-taking is what's going to keep your research organized and actionable. The goal is to capture the key arguments, quotes, and evidence from each source in a way that's easy to reference later. If you take good notes throughout your research, you'll also know what other evidence you need to make your argument whole. Summarize the key points in your own words. Use a color coding system to differentiate between quotes, personal notes, and to-do items. For digital tools, I would say that Zotero is a lifesaver. With that being said, I don't use this tool, but I'm definitely going to start using it immediately. So let me introduce you to Zotero real quick. It's a free tool that can make your research process so much smoother. Zotero lets you organize sources into folders for different projects. It can generate citations and bibliographies automatically in various styles, including Blue Book. You can annotate and highlight directly on PDFs within the program. And the best part is, Zotero syncs across your devices, so you always have access to your research, whether you're on your laptop or your iPhone. And I just want to say I'm not getting paid by Zotero. I just think it's a great program. Now, I wanted to just share my own personal method for how I organize my research because I get the question a lot, but I use what I like to call the binder method. It's really not as fancy as it sounds, but when I need to organize something, I prefer to have physical copies of things in my hand. Basically, I use a new binder for every research project that I take on. And on the front cover, what I'll do is I just print out my thesis statement in big, bold letters. And I love doing that because it just serves as a constant reminder of my focus whenever I'm doing my research. And I avoid going down rabbit holes. Then inside, what I'll do is I create sections for each major argument that I want to make. And these arguments usually end up being the topics of each body paragraph in my paper. But as I find sources, what I'll do is I print them out, highlight key parts, take notes, and just add them to each relevant section. That way, when I'm writing my outline or drafting my paper, I'm able to just look down at a folder of all the resources that I want to use. It's kind of a time waste and unnecessary, but oh well, I like it and it's always worked for me, and I'm very stubborn in my ways and I don't really want to change. But Zotero will probably be the new tool that I use. I want to talk about some problems I've seen a lot of students experience. So let's try to talk about what not to do. The first thing is, and I'm very guilty of this, don't fall down research rabbit holes. To avoid these rabbit holes, keep your focus on your research question. You could set time limits for research sessions and regularly ask yourself, is this still relevant to my thesis? You also want to keep your sources up to date. Keep your thesis front and center, literally keep it front and center. My binder trick is a great way to remind yourself that it's okay to refine it as you learn more. You always want to check if your sources are up to date using some citator services like Keycite or Shepard's. Even the best laid plans can go off track, and that's okay. Research is an iterative process. If you hit a dead end, adjust your search terms or look at your issue from a different angle. Regularly check in with your research goals to make sure you're still on track. And remember, if a source isn't working for you, move on. Don't waste time trying to force it or manipulate it. It will never end up good, I promise. By now, you should have a solid understanding of how to develop and execute a research plan. Whether you're a digital-first researcher using Zotero or a tactile learner with your trusty binder, the key is to stay organized, focused, and adaptable. So here's my challenge to you. Take what you've learned and apply it to your next project. Create a research plan, no matter how small the task might seem. Remember, every great legal argument, just like every impressive structure, starts with a strong foundation. Your journey to becoming a skilled legal researcher and writer begins now. So start building your foundation today and watch your confidence and your abilities grow with each project that you tackle.